Welcome to my presentation for week 5. This is discussing the position I would select, and it will be talking about running for mayor of Cedar City. The position I chose to run for was mayor. I chose mayor because I believe it is the position best able to help the local communities by encouraging growth and development so that we can have new jobs and homes. I also want to use the office to spread awareness and give a voice to minorities and immigrant families, as I have seen discrimination coming from a culturally diverse area in California and then moving to Utah. I would also want to have an open government to keep the trust of the people, as I have witnessed financial abuse being covered up by families in government. The mayor's office handles many items for the community. As a mayor, it would be my job to make sure that everything in the city is in order, such as housing developments and the infrastructure to support that need and jobs. By influencing social services, I can foster inclusion for new people coming in and that integration of developing new technology. Growth is already occurring in our area, and we need to prepare for that by embracing that change with clear thought so the community and people don't suffer from poor governmental oversight. Although in actuality I could not run for a position because I am not 18 years yet, the way I would get my name on the ballot is to meet all of the local and state requirements, which includes living in Cedar City for over a year, not having a criminal record, being a registered voter who is 18 years old, and not being declared mentally incompetent. Then I would need to file my declaration of candidacy with the city, make sure that it's filed within the proper time frame. And then in Utah, there is a requirement that all campaign finances must be disclosed so that there is a open disclosure about potential conflict of interests. And that must be listed on the state's website as well. And then once that's done, I could confirm my name on the ballot. The links are listed here. Support in any campaign is critical, particularly financial. As Utah is a majority Republican state, I would most likely run under that party, despite the fact that some of the policies I would endorse might be seen as more democratic. I would also look at community groups, PACs, and other organizations that are either cross-party or support the ideals that I'm looking at, despite party. In Utah, it's also important to have values that would be considered aligning with the LDS, which is Latter-day Saints Church, because they issue a voter guide, and that actually significantly impacts the community's view and election results. 60% of Cedar City's population is LDS, and about 60% is Republican. I would need that endorsement. Candidates who have strong party support typically do better because they have access to more resources and networks. If I was recognized by the party, that credibility would open up those resources, such as volunteers and the network system, which would also increase my exposure and thereby give me the opportunity to get more financial contributions and then get more endorsements, and then the cycle would continue. As my campaign would be focusing on community growth and those resources, in addition to immigration reform, I would focus on local groups with similar concerns, as well as PACs that are focused on supporting those needs. I would also utilize and look to engage the under-registered, which is the immigrant communities, the young residents, the college students, and the young families. Here's a list of groups that I would consider reaching out to for support in my campaign. The ones in red are recognized supporters who have already contributed previously to political campaigns in Utah, with my focus being the expansion of the population, housing, new jobs. These groups would all benefit from that as well. The realtors, the power companies, internet, property taxes, banks, those would all be something that would be co-aligned. The ones listed in blue are more focused on law enforcement and legalization of immigration reform. And so those ones would go along with my other stance, where we would be working to help legalize proper immigrants who have jobs here while still focusing on the known Republican stance of immigration reform and not having individuals with a criminal record who are illegally in the state here. The main points of my campaign would be focused on community safety, increasing housing, making that mostly affordable housing, also increasing the infrastructure to support that housing, which would also create jobs. I would also want to have an immigration reform inclusion. So that would be working with individuals who are already here, who may be illegal, but are in a working capacity to help them become legalized, while at the same time removing individuals who have a history of breaking the law. These would be seen as favorable for the community, and I would speak to them at community events, town halls, canvassing. I would make sure that my campaign is in multiple languages so it would spread the word faster and to all the communities. I would personally reach out. I would make sure that I'm publicly connecting with renters, immigrants, young residents, because I would want to utilize and try and get more voters. In our last mayoral election, we only had 22,000 individuals vote, which is about 30%. And so that could definitely increase the likelihood of being elected if I got that vote. Why should Cedar City residents vote for me? Because I'll make sure that the communities are thriving, focus on community well-being. I'll make sure that our immigrant families and that the underrepresented residents have a voice and a chance to be heard, while at the same time keeping our community values and law enforcement strong. I will have a long-term vision for financially responsible growth. I will work to have new jobs, affordable housing, and a strong future for all the residents of Cedar City. I want to lead with an open campaign, listening to my constituents, and making sure I put the community first. I selected mayor because I feel I could make the most impact with that one. However, I could also consider running for sheriff of Iron County. This is a picture of myself as part of the Junior Deputy Academy for the sheriff. And I do plan to go into law enforcement after graduating from college, which would be a good stepping stone to become a sheriff.